Hello everyone. So welcome back to another session of this incredible series of DP600 exam preparation in Fabric Data Days. So I'm going to just have some fixing here, and let's wait for everyone to join us. And the slides. So guys, how's everything? And how was your week? If there's any question from the past week or the other items that we have covered, please feel free to put in the chat. If not, we can kick it off. So let me prepare my screen and share it. Oh, there were some limitations for going live since I have changed the plan of the streaming app. So there are some unexpected things happening. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen a little bit. Let me prepare its slide. It's going to be in a window and also this one. This share screen. Okay. Seems all good. Okay, let's kick it off. Okay, so session number 3 of the exam preparation of the exam DP600 in Fabric Data Days series, and I hope everyone got their 100% discount for voucher actually for the exams from Microsoft Fabric community. And yeah, for those who are new, my name is Mehrdad Abdollahi, the Microsoft Learn expert and the Microsoft Fabric Café organizer and community lead, and your instructor in this series and the next one, which is for the exam DP700 for the data engineering. I'm based in Vancouver, Canada. It is actually in the Pacific time zone. And yeah, it's a pleasure to be with you guys in Microsoft Fabric Cafe. It's going to be a year and a half now. We usually have the weekly Fabric Coffee sessions. However, in the past weeks, it is slowed down a little bit because of some unexpected and unseen issues and unavailability of our speakers. However, we will resume our session soon. With almost 5,000 members around the globe, which focus actually with focusing on Microsoft Fabric and the Power BI. So here are our links to the social, the YouTube channel. Make actually feel free to subscribe on it, and our LinkedIn page and the community groups. There you can start the discussions, and also in meetup group where you can just rate the session and show your presence for each session. And there's a code of conduct. Thanks everyone for adhering to all of these, code of conduct. And when you join in person or virtually to the sessions at Microsoft Fabric Café. And today is session number 3, group study of DP600. In the previous session, we talked about data warehouse and some, as I mentioned in previous session, data warehouse is a big topic, cannot be really wrapped up in one session. So today we are going to just resume our discussion on Fabric Warehouse and some other items. We will talk about Dataflow Gen2, which is empowered actually by Power Query. We will work on some security and governance, settings and implementations for the item level or the row level securities, and endorsing items, how to activate them, and how to endorse an item in Fabric workspace. And if the time allows us, we will start talking about semantic models. Cool. Dataflow Gen2. It is just some items that are actually related to the Dataflow Gen2 in Fabric. Dataflow Gen2 is an upgraded version of the Dataflow Gen1, which was available previously before Fabric, but now it is enhanced and has lots of cool features. It is a low-code data ingestion and data transformation tool in Fabric. It is built on Power Query Online with full M language support. It can connect to hundreds of data sources, structured and semi-structured, to files even. And the output of that, the destination of that data flow can be, 6 or 7 different destinations in Fabric that are, let's say, the data warehouses in Fabric, lake houses, files, event stream, KQL, and so on and so forth. What else? It supports the incremental refresh. We will just have a look at everything in Fabric portal. It actually utilizes enhanced compute engines for faster load and faster refresh. It allows multiple output destinations with different queries. It enables staging queries. It provides us with the possibility of parameterizing our flows, and of course reusable functions. When you need to just calculate something by sending that to a function and get the result from that function. It is providing us with the automatic creation and maintenance of the schema in Lakehouse and Warehouse. You can, call the data flows within the pipelines, even by passing the parameters to those to the data flow. And it is, an ideal for dimension fact table preparation before semantic modeling. However, if it is going to be very complex, it is maybe better to consider the other options if more complex transformations, or if you're really comfortable with coding with the SQL, or even with notebook and coding in Python, then you have the other options. So for the data ingestion, data transformations, there are different options in Fabric based on your skill sets, based on the the destinations that you want to work with, and the data type that we have. So there is not a limitation to only work with Dataflow Gen2. Just wanted to mention that. But of course, you can work with Dataflow Gen2 for loading your dimensions in a warehouse. One of the important things is that it supports the query folding to push notification, actually transformation to the source. What does it mean? In specific conditions, you can put the pressure of data transformation into your source system, like where it is actually applicable. For example, you have a source of SQL Server or Azure SQL, and it has an engine for working with the data. So why not put the pressure of the transformation to your your data source, and then having more resources available in your Dataflow Gen2. And of course, you have to follow a specific logic when you're putting the steps for the data transformation. The other thing that is also available in Dataflow Gen2, it is a good option for API ingestion and JSON flattening. It is just in a second, it just flatten the file, or basically expand the associated records and then just downstream the records. It is best for moderate medium scale ETL, but not data and not big data or complex that I mentioned. Maybe it is better to consider other options. So let's have a look at that in the portal. And let's go to our DP600 workspace. Hi guys. Do we have any here? Yeah. So we've got one here, for example, for load financial data, right? Using a Dataflow Gen2. I'm gonna just open the existing one that we have created in the previous session, and let's wait for this to be opened. We talked about that, but I want to be a bit more detailed. I felt maybe it is better to talk more about the data transformation options and the items. Cool. So we talked about the whole about the landing page of Dataflow Gen2, that in the left side we have the queries that are basically going to be maybe at the tables at the end of the day to a destination, or they can be even used as a a query that can help the other the queries to just fulfill the needs that we have. Let me just put it here to have a full view. The story starts from getting the data, right? In our ribbon here, we have the get data. So the getting the data has different sources. So if we click on more, and we can see there are different options, right? When it comes to the file, we can have access to different types for the files. For the databases, both uh, relational and document-based databases, if I'm not mistaken. Here, let's check where the Cosmos DB. Oh, the Cosmos DB is not a interesting. But yeah, the MongoDB falls in database. Yeah, that's good. And we can source the data from Fabric items that can be in another data flow or data marts, warehouses, lake houses, KQL databases. However, some of them are still in preview, not the object itself, but the connector. It is good to work with them. In the Power Platform, we've got the Power BI, data flows, the legacy mode. We have, the Dataverse and even the data flow that we talked about. In the Azure, we have the Azure SQL, we have the Azure Data Lake Storage, we have Azure Blobs, and Azure Cosmos DB v2, which is one of the options in available here, and also the online services that might be softwares available like for different purposes, like in Salesforce or like the Asana or something like that. So we have different options, and in the other you have access to a bunch of sources to land the data. However, you're gonna choose one of these guys, then it is going to just start navigating that process. So sorry, navigating that source. So very first step that we can see in the applied steps here is like this, and I have just connected to my Fabric items using my credentials for Fabric. And let me just make it bigger a bit. And then from there, when I selected the source, the main source, I just went down to a specific workspace, and from that workspace I selected my for example, Lakehouse, and from the Lakehouse I selected my file or the table that I've got there. For example, the table is a stock market, right? And it has some items. And the next step that I just applied as an example there was just removing some columns. Okay, as you can see, they are following some steps here, and each step has actually a script in M language. If you would like to see all the scripts in order, you can just go here in the bottom or even on top. Where was it? Yeah, advanced editor. It can just show the whole lines that you've got, or even in the bottom right, it has, I have to just make it like this. In the bottom right, it has a small icon of the script that you can choose query script, and it always shows the whole script. You can even switch it off or just step script. I would prefer the step script to just understand what's happening in each step. But if you notice, for each step that goes down, it is referring to the previous step like this, right? We have the navigation tree, which is using the previous step outcome and just doing the exploration of that. The other thing that is that the diagram that we can see here, just to visualize it, right? That you can add your steps here, or moving, clicking on the step and and add other steps, or rename it, or delete the whole query, and so on and so forth. But in order to see that, you can just switch it off or on for diagram view, and what you see, in the bottom is the outcome of the data. However, you can just switch it to schema view. What schema is going to be returned in this step. For example, here I have some fields that are going to be removed, like bid price and ask price, ask size. Cool. Let's back to the normal one and the step script. The ribbons that we have here, we can manage the connections. We can add more data. It doesn't end to only one query, of course. You can add more data from different sources if you want to just merge them, if you want to append something. You can just enter data manually, or pasting in new content. Here you can just add your table, and you can just say the just first row as a column, and like this. I don't want to use it for now, or maybe even we can just say NSFT BMZM. NSFT and BMZM. That's it. On my table, let's say symbol list, for example. So we have created, a table. There is no source for that. It is not, coming from anywhere, but it only has a some sort of, records here, and it has a column, right? And I can just rename that column by like this, and let's say symbol. And even renaming a column is going to add a new basically a step for me. I don't want it to be loaded to any destination, right, for now. So it is the next thing that we need to look at. The at the end of the story of a Dataflow Gen2 is going to be landed in a destination. We are doing the transformation and prepare our data to be landed somewhere. Let's go to the symbol list and adding a destination, and let's see what are the available options for us to just load it to the destinations. In Microsoft Fabric, we can load the data into the lakehouse, a warehouse, or even SQL database, which is in preview. And when it comes to the lakehouse, there is actually an advanced option that just giving you the opportunity to using the hierarchy in your lakehouse or warehouse. That we will talk about that later, when we move on to the warehouse. So here are all of the workspaces that I have access to, and I'm going to just for this one, and if there is any lakehouse, I've got a lakehouse here that it can just list the available tables that I have. If I want to load it to a new table, or push the data into an existing table, or even I can push it to a new file. What kind of file I'm going to what will be the extension of that, and what will be the delimiter of it, right? So yeah, it is also the file format is always delimited text at this stage, based on the actually structured format that we have in the result of our data flow. But let's say we will create a new table, and it's going to be called symbol list. And after that, we can just automate its basically the schema of the items. For example, if in the future this text is going to be changed to ID, right, or it changed to integer or a numeric thing, then it is going to automatically identify it. Otherwise, I can just specify it, or for the method of updating, I can just say, hey, I want this data to be completely replaced with whatever that I have in my destination, and or it can be just added to the records that I have in my destination table for the next refresh of the data flow. As an example, when you have the sales order records, so the sales order record is not going to be every time wipe out whatever that I have I'm in the gold layer, and then load actually and then load everything from from the beginning. So we will need just some additive data, some appending data to those data source data destinations. And also about the schema, for the schema, we can have the dynamic schema, as we talked about. It is going to just identify the changes and push it to the destination, or we can specify a fixed schema, but we need to be very be cautious about each of these items that we are choosing, because of the dependent the items that are depending on the data destination that we are going to create. For example, if you create a data model, a semantic model, and then you have a report on top of that, it may be corrupted, right? Sorry. Okay, so it is going to just save the settings as is, and the data is going to be landed in our warehouse. In our lake house. What is the reason of having this here, right? Maybe we can just make a relationship to these two. For example, I added the list of two of these symbols, right? Two of these symbols, I can make it more, but it is like this. But and if we can just having making a join of between these two queries. What else we can talk about here? Now I'm just trying to not missing anything. For in order to transform the data, let me just complete this section. I mentioned about the parameters. The parameters in Dataflow Gen2, right? You can create your parameters. These parameters can be, referenced, and can be, of course, they should be fit from where it is they are going to be. They're going to be, executed from, for example, from a pipeline, or even we can give them a current value, right? Then and it can be like a rate or a base rate or something like that. Cool. So we can, for example, say we are only interested in the symbol of something. Let's create a parameter, symbol name, and let's say it is required. The type of that is text, and the current value of that, let's say it is NSFT. And when it goes back to let's back to our stock market, right? And here we can just filter our rows, right? It is one of the transformations that we can have. We want to just filter it, right? It says equal from a parameter of, oh sorry, I need to choose symbol, then choose filter from here, or right click on it and find a filter where I can, if I can find it here, or maybe from here I can just filter on it. But yeah, like this. And from a parameter, and the parameter that I have is symbol name, right? And it is going to only load the data for that specific symbol, which is NSFT. And you can see it automatically makes a relationship between these two queries and I mean objects within a data flow. But they should be folded step, and hopefully it is going to return something for us. Filtering on a text is going to be a bit consuming, because I'm not sure how many records I've got in this table. However, it is one of the ways to filter the records, and even you can just skip the top records, skip the bottom records of your table, and each of these guys that we are going to click on that and configure it, it is going to be a new applied step here. Even you can just sort it, or is there any problem with this screen, Ishkan? I see. Please, guys, let me know if you're experiencing any low quality. Before I continue, I don't want to you guys miss anything. Please, if you can just confirm if you have a clear screen, and I can just check it in my phone as well. Screen. Actually, it is small, but I can confirm, in my YouTube it is coming good. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thanks everyone for confirming. Cool. Maybe you can just maybe it might be because of your internet. You can just choose the highest quality that is actually provided in your YouTube app. Yeah, unfortunately, we had to just downgrade to 720, and hopefully the resolution is low. Sorry. We may work on that for the next session to upgrade to a better quality. Cool. However, the data flow is the small things, and we have to maybe tolerate that. Okay. So in the symbol now we can see the data only has been loaded for NSFD, right? And we have used the parameter, but that parameter can be fed from outside. That we will work on that when working with the pipelines. What else? Let's do something else as well. And here is, we had another, table, right? Let me just check if, here. For this table, we have added these two, but I want to add a column here. Let's add a column, a custom column, and let's just call it as, let's say, refined symbol, or yeah, and the text, actually the text, we can just specify the type of that, for the custom column that we are going to add. And for this one, for example, we can add a prefix to the column that we have, and let's say it is sim dash plus this. Not sure if this formula is going to work. Oh, it is erroring. Maybe I'm not using the right one. Could be this. Yeah, the ampersand. So I have added a column called a refined symbol with a prefix of that. Yeah. Cool. And so let's make, we have made it, and I want this column to be added to my destination, to the main item that I have. What I'm going to do is making a relationship between these two guys. And here I can maybe just merge it and join it. And here I can, if I can find it. Oh. Should be somewhere here. Merge queries, yeah. So from here, and I was looking for the button on top, but maybe somewhere here. But in three dots here, you can just merge the queries or merge query as new. That is going to add it to a new one. But I could go with the merge query. It is going to be merged with a symbol list, and it is going to be just linked these two symbols, and I would say the inner join. Let's just make it happen. And let's see what field is going to be available here. And, little by little, we are just making our destination table, more robust. And what I need to do is just grabbing that column, that new column is going to be added to my, final destination for each of these guys that I'm going to load. And what else? We have the Copilot option. However, it is only available in the paid capacities. Mine is the trial. It's going to be finished in 6 days. The one that I was looking for, you can find it in the combine. In the combine section, you can just merge it or append it or combine files. For the adding columns, I think it is now enough for everything. Let's wait for this guy to just make it ready. While this one is busy, I'm going to just jump into my slides. We have to just switch between. About the data warehouses. We talked about warehouses in Fabric, but there are some possibilities of monitoring the capacity of actually monitoring our the capacity activities, about the cost or the admin stuffs that I'm not going to talk about them now because it is not the actually subject of the DP600, but we can just have a look at some other stuffs that are related to the performance improvement in a warehouse. So once this guy is working, while this guy is working, we can go to the next one. And the last thing about data flows, there is no save publish button when we are working in the Git version of the data flow, and you can either save and run, however the draft is saving after adding each step, but we can just save it and make it final for our workspace as an item, and the load is going to be started. However, as I mentioned, with each activity that we do, a draft is going to be saved automatically. Okay, let's jump into our warehouse quickly and check some items together. One of the monitoring tools that you can use within your Fabric is query activity. The query activity is going to just give you the query runs, whatever that have been executed, in your warehouse. It could be accessing your warehouse, or sometimes the system execution itself, the monitoring behind the scene is going to just query those scripts. We have long running queries, which is a good thing. It is going to give you an idea of what queries are taking longer to execute, and for each of those guys, you can just see the text of that. what is it, what is taking longer, and how long it did take time. And for example, 2 minutes and something for only getting the data from the fact cells. However, it was maybe a big file, and frequently run queries that how often they have been executed. When what is it good for? When you see a query that is executed a lot, meaning that meaning that you can make that specific script more accessible, like maybe just create a table from that script and make it available for those users instead of having the whole table for the fact sales, for example. And yeah, it is good to keep monitoring your activities and query activities in your warehouse. About the monitoring part, there always it is good to look at the the views that we've got. For example, the long queries. There are some query insight views available in your warehouse. If you go to your warehouse, and if you go to the schema of query insights, you can see the views there. The view that is listing the query history, query request history, that you can just go and check who is the what program is calling that, or for example, I called it from my VS Code, or called it from Power BI application, and what user was doing that, and what is the kind of that statement, what was the status of it, and how many rows have been returned. So these are good insights, and that give you the an overview of what's happening in your warehouse, and to make it better always. And the session histories that we have, what are the sessions, who has initiated that, when it was initiated, and when it was finished. The frequently run his queries that we have seen in the query activities, but here here you can basically query this view, right? And you can just specify, hey, I want the data for this specific user, or for this specific time frame. For the long running queries and pull insights. One thing that becomes very handy when you're doing the monitoring, it basically goes back to the development side of the things, right? Or from where you are exploring your warehouse. That is called label querying. When you are querying and you want to understand how your query can be improved, then you need to just identify your queries within all of those queries, and it is going to be the labeling of your query is going to be very handy. In the first section, I have the query, for example, getting the data from fact finance with specific conditions, and at the end of that, I have an option with the option of labeling. For this label, I say, hey, it is sales dashboard, and this script can be written everywhere. And however, when you do your script, it is not going to be available in your insight views right away, right? And you have to, maybe it takes up to 15 minutes, but it may be available right away, but depending on how busy your warehouse is. But when you have that label, you can just checking, for example, the long running queries, for example, and checking if you have that label in your script. Then you can just only filter those scripts that you are interested in for identifying the bottleneck. Or in the exec request history, there is a field exactly for that label that you can just check the activities for those queries. In order to secure your Fabric warehouse, there are different ways of making it secure. But before securing this guy, I would like to, oh, there was an error here. This symbol is a bit, maybe. Did I load the symbol list here? If actually I'm loading the symbol list in the lakehouse. Let's remove this merge here, and we will do the join in the SQL analytics. So let's save, run, and close this data flow. And I want to just show you something related to our data flows and how to check if their run history. In your landing page of your workspace, as you can see, actually data flow has been running, right? And it is just rounding for this icon. And in the more option, you can just check the recent runs, right? Or even you can schedule that, schedule it for an execution. But for the recent runs, we can always see a history of your executions for this data flow. And there's a download a possibility for just seeing the history of your the execution. For example, here, this CSV file, if I can open it for you guys. No, it is going to be okay. I cannot open it here. Because this here is the full screen. But however, it is going to show you a start date, end date, and end time, and the status of it, and the refresh status for each item of each item that is available in your data flow. Cool. This is running. Let it to run, and let's go back to our data warehouse. I just wanted to show you how a let's say top 100 of our cells with the option of label equals to let's say cells analysis, and let's rename this guy to labeling query and execute it. Cool. And later in the session, we can just check our query insights to see if that label is coming through. What else? Let me check. Securing a Microsoft Fabric data warehouse. There are different ways of making it secure. One of them is dynamic data masking. So always there are data in your tables that are not something to be shown to all users, to all your developers even. Like some confidential things like a credit card number or email address or even phone number, first name and last name, and so on and so forth, right? So it is the way of just hiding the sensitive data from unauthorized people in your organization. And it is going to, of course, it is going to be done with a high, actually, with higher permissions to keep that masking. And of course, there are different masking functions available for different sensitive data categories. For example, we have the default masking that is masking everything, all the characters in your actually cell of that table is going to be just marked as XXX, and it is useful when you want to completely hide your actual data. And the masking rule actually is called default. We have for email, specific for email, that for the email it is going to just exposes first letter of an email address and the actually the suffix of that of .com, for example, right? And it is specifically used for the email address that you don't want to be shown for the unauthorized users. We have the custom text that you can partially masking something, for example, a first name, last name, that you only want to have some number of characters of your text is going to be visible, the rest are going to be masked, right? For example, and the rule that we have is partial, prefix padding, and padding string, what we're going to do there, and then suffix padding. For the random, it is maybe a good option. Good example for that will be the salary, right? You don't want to reveal the salary. It is a number, and it will be a random thing, which between two, between two values, low and high. So, how to basically configure dynamic data masking when it is going to be happening in the table level, right? When you are creating or modifying a table, right? Like and then you're going to add that mask, right? And you can actually it is going to be masked for the users in the other roles, and if you want a specific user to see that data, you can just grant unmask to that user, and non-privileged users of course see masked data. Those privileged and admin users or roles can see the unmasked data, and it is an example of how it will look like. This one is only done for the emails. It is an example, how we are going to add the mask to our table. We are altering at the table of employee with the and altering the column of email, and with adding masked with function of email, or for the employee, for the salary, we are masking a random mask between 1 and 200,000. And we can also grant unmask for on that table to a specific user. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have any additional user to show you how it is going to work. It is going to be useless if you go for the demo on this, but it is very simple to implement and prove that. The next security that we can implement for our warehouse is row level security, which is very important in the organizations where we have different departments even. And that specific department should only see their own data and not the others, right? It is basically, from its name, it comes, row level. It is just control which users can access specific rows of the data. And of course, data access is restricted based on the user identity, and those rows that are affected are not going to be, loaded for those users to be available. Applying the row level security is not going to change your data in the warehouse, and basically, when the user is retrieving that, those row level securities are going to be applied by itself. And yeah, as an example, I told you about the sales department and the other department. And how to implement that? Of course, you need to firstly, determine the roles and the criteria for the data access. For example, sales only have the sales data. You need to create, actually, the row level security comes with two options, two components in a warehouse. One is the predicate function. You need to create a function that is determining the criteria for user row access, which is containing security logic and security predicate. And the second thing that you need to create is security policy that basically is invoking the predicate function, and it is going to bind that function to the table that you've got. An example for that one, can be, only the sales representative people, users can look at the, some specific rows of the data, right? In order to just implement that, as I mentioned, you need to create one function, which is this predicate function. And for example, in a schema of RLS for the roles, we have this function of security predicate that its input is sales representative, and it's going to return the table, and it just check if the sales representative equals to the username, which has logged in for just retrieving the data. And how it is going to be revoked in our security policy is that, the security policy is basically going to add the filter of that predicate function that we have created for the column of sales representative and sales table. I hope it makes sense. And as I mentioned, I don't have any other user to make it more sensible. Another security option actually that is available in warehouse is the column level security. That is basically restricting the column access in the table. And it is, it is going to be, directly saying grant select or deny select permissions for the users. An example can be, allowing Mary to see all columns in an order table except the credit card column. It is going to just say select, actually grant select on orders to that specific person and deny select on orders that credit card column to Mary. So firstly, it is just granting, or they actually may that user may have access to that specific, not that specific object, but maybe has access to everything. But it is denying the select on that specific field, which is the credit card. And here we are practicing the object level security as well. For example, we are granting select on the table of orders to a user. And when we are actually denying denying a permission for a specific column for user, basically the select star doesn't work for them, and they have to specify the columns that they have, right? Cool. Guys, if there is any question, feel free to ask in the chat. We have some theory things that we have to cover in our the slides. The next security option that we can implement for our warehouse is the granular permission using TSQL. That sometimes it is not working for the rows or columns, and we want to work on the specific object, right? We can actually provide them the access to the tables, views, start procedures, and functions, and basically we provide them with the grant, deny, or revoke access if it is already granted. For this one, we basically using the Fabric warehouse roles and its permission. Actually, when actually the roles are not enough for managing the the users. We have the roles in we have the roles in let's say in warehouse, in Fabric warehouse, that we can assign the users to those roles. For example, here it is just denying the select on the table of parts to a specific role, or grant execute for a specific start procedure for a specific role. Let's have a look at the roles that we have for a warehouse. In order to check that, we can go to the security section, and in the security we have DB roles built in and the custom. For the DB roles, we have the DB owner, access admin, security admin, DDL admin. There are some built-in stuffs. Deny data writer, deny data reader, data writer, data reader, and backup operator, and DDL admin. And we have also something custom for public that may not fall in this built-in stuffs. That they have specific roles and security consideration behind the scene. Cool. Before talking about this guy, let me see the status of our execution. Yeah, the execution of this data flow has been completed, and we can just check the recent runs, and let's see. Yeah, this succeeded, and it was executed on demand, right? If it is going to be scheduled, then the type of that will be changed to scheduled. And the result of that is in my lakehouse, as we checked. So I think it is refined, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully, yeah. And now we have the symbol list. That was those two items that we have added there, and with the refined, actually, with that prefix. Oh, it is not coming through. Oh, isn't added? Interesting. That symbol was not added there. No problem. There were some issues maybe in the calculation. And on the other side, we have the stock market refined, and it should only have the data for one symbol. It should be only for this NSFT. And in order to make sure about that, we can query our lakehouse in the SQL Analytics endpoint. As you guys know, the SQL Analytics endpoint is the same experience as we have in Data Warehouse. So whatever that we can do there, we can do here as well, except for the manipulation of the data. So, but whatever that is related to this can be checked. Just here I'm going to just having some example, right, of filtering the data and merging of those two tables and adding a new column just to fulfill the objectives in our study plan. So here I have the stock market, and let's just inner join it with a symbol list, and you can just drag and drop on that, and on sm dot symbol equals to sl dot symbol. And here I want to, since we have two symbols here, I would say sm dot symbol, and here let's say I want to only have top 200 and sl dot, what was the field name that we didn't add it here. What I'm going to do is here, let's say sim plus this symbol as refined simp, and I'm going to just create it as a view. One of the these are good, that we catch. One of the limitations of there are some limitations, when we are querying in the SQL Analytics endpoints or that warehouse, that if you want to save it as a view, you have to select your your script and then say select as view, and I call it as view symbols, right? And let's say okay. It's going to create our new view. The view should be created in our view here. Hopefully it's going to be added. Yeah, our view is here now with that added column with refined sim. As you can see, there are different ways. We can do that on Dataflow. We can do it in SQL Analytics endpoints, or even in a notebook, and different options. So let's back to our main script. I wanted to have this view instead, right? And say sim and sl dot refined sim. Let's execute it and see if it is working. Symbol. It may. Yes, it's case sensitive. Oh, SL has a symbol. Okay, cool. Now we can see the new file here. However, it is my data, and I can just again save it as view. I'm just getting top 200, and maybe I can just say order by, let's say, I don't know, the time descending, this time table, time column descending. And then we can just save it as a view. So yeah, and it is just a view of refined stock market. Cool. Now let's back to our, that data flow can be even executed using the what do you call it? The parameter using the pipelines by passing the parameters to that one. Yeah, let me just create one pipeline here quickly. Did we have any pipeline before? Yeah, we had one. Just let's say load stock market filtered. Of course, in a pipeline you will have different steps, but it is just as an example that how we are going to execute it. And we have a data flow here. The data flow that I'm going to choose is the one that we worked on, load financial data, right? But here you can see the parameter is not showing up. Why? So let's open it. It is one of the maybe tips and tricks of how to make it available. We have the parameter here, right? We have the symbol name that we can pass, but there's an option. This option in the data flow is giving you some possibilities. One of them is the parameters, that you can just enable parameters to be discovered and overridden for executions. And it is very obvious that we can make some parameters only available within the data flow and not being fed from outside of the data flow itself. But yeah, it is the parameter to be available here. And for this guy, let me check why this new was not added. Oh, that is why. Remember, I think I put a fixed schema, if I'm not mistaken. There was a fixed schema. I'm going to just put it in the existing, table that we have for symbol list, and it has only one. And we can just set the automate. You see, refresh destination schema and reset column mapping. It is not, bringing the new field for me, right? Because it is looking at that that specific table. So that is why, before I added that new column, I basically configured my destination without that new field, and that is why the new field is not coming through there. Cool, that's fine. It is not a big deal. Maybe this is a good example that when we have a fixed schema and the new thing is going to be added, it is not going to be replicated there. Cool. Let's back to our, let's just save it, and let's back to our pipeline. In the pipeline, now if I refresh it and go there, now the data flow parameters are coming through. And here I can just set my parameter to a new thing. But, oh. Yeah, now the parameter is coming up. The value of that is NSFT. I can even read it from a set of variables in the pipeline itself, or pushing that same thing. It's just here you can just dynamically add your content, and that dynamic variable can come from library variables or pipeline variables that for example we can just name it and just send it to our symbol name here. Just to make sure what other options are available in the symbol list. We had another one as well. BMZM. BMZM. We can just let's create a variable here to make it more nice. Symbol name, for example, and we are going to use this symbol name instead of hard coding that. And when we want to execute this, pipeline, we should specify a value for this. BZM. What was that? BMZM. BMZM. Oh, it is running, and nothing is going to be. Now it is in progress for the execution. It's going to take time, but however, I would like to have this default default value. In the next execution, it will just show up. Okay. Fabric warehouse snapshots. Let me just start from here. When basically it happens that when you're working with the data warehouses, you need to just do some maintenance on it, right? And while you're doing your loading, your maintenance, or modifying something in your warehouse, you want a reliable version of your warehouse to be available for your end users. Or maybe in some scenarios, you would like to just compare your current warehouse with your previous version in the past 30 days, anytime, right? And the other option can be just having some sort of validation of your new warehouse version. Then it is a good opportunity to use the warehouse snapshots. The snapshots are basically a read-only and point-in-time version of your warehouse. It is showing the exact. Actually, it shows the data exactly at it was existed in that specific timestamp. They are going to be created manually by the user. However, I think we can create it using the REST APIs. They are going to be, the snapshots are going to be child item of the main warehouse, and showing something like SQL analytics endpoints. And the snapshots are read-only. You cannot do any insert or update or delete. The snapshots can be refreshed and roll forward, and just for example, when you put the timestamp of your snapshot to 20 days ago, you can just roll it forward to 10 days ago, for example, because there is a limitation of your snapshots that only goes back up to 30 days, and older than that is not possible, because the Parquet files that in your OneLake is going to be deleted after 30 days. It is not going to be available. And the other thing is that the snapshots are not going to copy the data, right? It is just using the feature of the delta log of your your OneLake features, and but it is looking at the same data but with a different timestamp. The permissions and securities are inherited from the parent warehouse, And as I mentioned, the snapshots are useful for stable reporting, historical analytics, and protecting downstream systems during your ETL. And whatever schema changes that you do on your main warehouse is going to be reflected to your snapshot. So the snapshot is only about the data and not about the schema. How to do that? Let's jump into the portal, and so let's run this one more time. The data flow that we have to only load the data for BMZM. And let's go to our data warehouse. So in order to create the snapshots, we should go to the management and adding a new snapshot. We can just give it a name and say, for example, my data warehouse snapshot 1. And we can just give it a description. We can choose a status of the data in the past, right? And in the past 30 days, you can give it a date. For example, I say, hey, I want it up to 23rd and at this date and time, and the time zone is this. Actually, the UTC actually, the time that's the time. The time that we are going to basically specify within a query or the REST APIs is only UTC at the behind the scene. But however, it is going to just convert to your time zone. And when you create it, it's going to be created automatically. Immediately, it is not a big thing. Let's wait for this guy to be created. And once it is going to be created, we can manage them here in the manage warehouse snapshots once it is created. And of course, you can just just check your executions in the notification section. The pipeline is still running, but now our snapshot is created. Where we can find our snapshot, if we go to the main section, right? There are different ways to access your snapshots. One is underlying the data warehouse, and the type of that is called warehouse snapshot. And when you open it, it is going to just give you access to the SQL analytics endpoints. You can create, the semantic model on top of that, whatever that you can do, but it is not. You cannot do any changes on your on the data warehouse, and it is only read-only. You cannot even create the items. But it shows you the data in the past. For example, if let's back to the data warehouse and update something, what we have in our data warehouse. We have the state profit, for example, right? And I want to just see dimension city, what we have here. In the dimension customer, I'm going to change the postal code for this 102. Let's say update. Please note that I'm doing that in my warehouse, right? And not there. Where customer, what is the column name? The customer key. equals to 102. I want to set the postal code to 2119, for example. And let's execute it. Postal code. And so it has been executed. If we go to this one and look at that specific one where customer key equals to 102, we can see the postal code changed to 2119. And if we get the same script in the snapshot warehouse and execute it, we should see the original snap. Oh, it is showing it. Interesting. It shouldn't show that. Something is wrong. It might be the current version of that. Oh, look here. I'm referring to the warehouse, the actual data warehouse, because it has access to it, right? Just keep in mind when you're referring to this one, it is going to be postal code. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, about the snapshot, I think it is good, but the last one about the snapshot, let's back to here and let's open the snapshots. As you can see, it is ready. It can be opened, or we can even capture new dates. And if we say current, it is going to capture the current time for that snapshot. And once it is done and we go back to our snapshot, we should see the new postal code that we have added to that customer. For this one, where is my snapshot here? This is the snapshot. The postal code was this, and if we execute it now, we should see 2119. Yeah, here it is. Awesome. Sweet. Okay, so this was the snapshot, and there are some limitations. Of course, you're gonna need to read the Microsoft Learn documentation for any limitation of these guys, and don't only rely on the live sessions that we have. Of course, it's going to be some more items to be learn about. There is an option in warehouse called data recovery. The data recovery is basically restoring the backups that we have, right? For those admins, who would like to, DBAs would like to just know how to restore a backup. It is the way. And the other option of the recovering a data is cloning the table, right? If you clone the table, you can always go back up to 30 days. Just choose a specific time for that table, which was a reliable and stable version of your data. But for the restoring, where you can find it, let's back to our warehouse. In the settings section, if you go to my data warehouse, in the settings section, there is restore points. The restore points is listing all of the system created restore points. And restore points allow you to restore it. The system creates a restore point at least every 8 hours. You can also add your own restore point at any time. So, but all restore points, retained for 30 days before being deleted. And it is very simple. Restore point manual, and it is at this date and time, and we can easily delete them, rename them, or even delete them. We can delete the manual created one, right, and not the system. The system is going to be managed by themselves, but we can delete our manual stuffs or restore it. I'm comfortable, for example, with this one, and I restore it, and I can rename it to have a better naming conventions. And for cloning the table, I think we discussed that before. If not, we can clone, for example, the city. We can just clone the table. That's cloning. We can just go back to for 30 days, up to 30 days, or the current version of that. Let's say for the customer, I want to clone it for today is 26. Oh, and the time that is showing is UTC. Let me just go back to 2 hours ago, and the cloned one. And when I clone it, it is going to just create a schema on top of that, right? And is basically, and if I select on the same customer key, right, I should see the previous postal code, right? Let's just double check that. Yeah, now I can see the previous postal code before my before my update on that specific field and record. Hopefully it is understandable. Okay, I think we're good. What time is it? It's 15 minutes to 8. About the, let's just open it up, or let me just add something here before we jump into the semantic models. There are some items that we need to discuss. One of them is endorsements. The endorsements are basically the ways that an item in your warehouse can be recognized as a reliable or certified or something like that. That's the users, the developers, the business users even can trust on that specific item. For example, you have created a report and let's say promoted as a reliable version of that report, and others can say, hey, it is one of the more valid reports. I can count on those those information in that report. So it is very simple. It is not a big deal, but the strategy behind that is more important. In the page of your workspace, you can see the endorsement column for each item, and for each of these guys can be set to a specific endorsement, and the endorsement that are available. Let me just go back to my data warehouse again, or even for the snapshot that I have. I can say hey, my snapshot is a valid version of my data warehouse. If anyone outside of my team or the organization wants to use the most reliable version, I'm promoting that. Even I can certify it. Certified means the more we go up, the more validity and trust we can have on this item. The promoted is they recommended for it is item that is recommended for others to use. I have checked it. My manager maybe checked it, and everyone is happy. But we may have some items that are certified, and this certified is a compliance maybe to your it is complied to your organization's policies and the standards that your organization is following, and then you can say, hey, it is certified by our internal auditor, for example. Or you can even mark one of these guys as master data, right? The master data is for example, this warehouse snapshot is a core source of organization data records. But I don't have access to these two because of the trial version. However, I'm just promoting that, and you can just see them. It is going to be available here like this. However, for those two other items in the admin portal, you can just find the certificate, marked certified, content discoverable, and also certification, enabled for entire, organization. You need to just specify the URL for the documentation page if you're following some sort of, standards for your organization, or even for master data. If you want to just endorse an item as a master data, then you can just enable it here. However, it is not showing on my end. Maybe it is because of my in my basically trial version. Cool. Yeah, just wanted to make note of this endorsement, and there's also a sensitivity recognition for the item. For example, you can mark your data warehouse as a sensitive one, but again, and it is going to be a confidential thing, right? And however, in the trial version also, again, we don't have access to it. Something is happening in the back end, creating a new table with copied metadata. Oh, yeah, this is still doing the cloning table. It should be finished. Back to our data flow. The thing that actually we have executed. Let's check if our stock market refined has been changed to the one that we passed as a parameter for B's MZM symbol. Yes, that's it. So now you can see how we have parameterized our data flow and use those parameters in our pipeline and seeing the results in our lakehouse. Sweet. Cool. Guys, is there anything that you want me to talk about, or is there any question? If not, I can just walk you through a little bit on the semantic model, what is it, and how it can be created. So what I'm going to do is just moving to my warehouse and start creating the semantic model. So what is semantic model? Semantic model is the storage layer of your data behind the Power BI reports, right? That it is always good to have a robust and scalable semantic model. Sorry, I just remembered something about the data warehousing that was not in the slides. My apologies. It is related to the foreign keys, primary keys, and the unique constraints. These are the items, constraints in the warehouse that you can just create on top of your, just to be added into your tables. They cannot be defined in the creation of your table, and they are only going to be it is going to be only possible to add them to your table once you have your table in place. And the important tip about that is you cannot enforce any of those constraints, right? You cannot enforce them, and you have to specify not enforced. Syntax of that will be, let me just find it here, foreign key in Fabric warehouse. The primary keys, foreign keys in Fabric warehouse. You need to, when you create your table, you cannot set your, primary key and foreign keys. But the thing that you need to do is altering that table by adding the constraint of the primary key, for example. It has to be non-clustered and not enforced. Not enforced is more important here. And for example, if we, for example, the foreign keys, for the foreign keys, again, the same story. You have to alter the table, add that constraint, and is not here. The foreign key in the bottom. Sorry, the foreign key is going to references your main table, but again, not enforced. If you have planned to have the foreign keys and your primary keys, and you want to make sure that your model is not missing anything in your dimensions, you need to just check them in your ETL process. It can be something in your SQL section, in creation of for example, you can let's do something like this. For example, you can create a start procedure, right? Guys, use this example templates here. It's going to make life much easier for you. And it doesn't have to have the parameters, but here I would call it find, for example, not find, just fix missing keys, something like that. I don't want to be very specific here, but what you need to do is just selecting, for example, from your fact sales table, let's say, and let's call it sales, and left join with city, and I would say C on S dot city key equals to C dot city key, where C dot city key is null. Just finding the missing items, right? And let's say S dot, what columns we have here? Sales key, right? It is just selecting. I haven't. Oh, cell key, not sales key. There's nothing, all are good, right? And there is no missing values. But if there is anything missing, let me just look at the dimension city here. There always might be something. Let's delete one of these guys. I would like to delete 102.139. 102.139. 102. Delete from. Delete from this city, where city key equals to this guy, and let's delete it. So this one has been deleted, and now it should give me the cell key, actually the cell record. However, there was no associated record to that specific city. That's fine. Maybe we can just find another example. But in the start procedure, maybe you can, for example, update the records from here, right? For example, you can say update, for example, S with setting the city key equals to 0, for example, right? And it can be your start procedure. And 0 for city key could be a unknown city for just not having any null values in your cells, or not having orphan records, or not having unrelated record in your sales table. Yeah, just wanted to mention about these things, plus creating a start procedure. And it is very obvious that you can create the functions and or other stuffs, right? It's not a big challenge. Cool. I think we're good, but just let's open the discussion for semantic models, and then we can continue for the semantic models for semantic models, and for the real-time intelligence next session, next week on Tuesday. I'm just thinking if I should open this topic, or I should go for one more thing about the security and sharing in Fabric environment. Maybe it is better to go here. Previously, we talked about the roles in a workspace and Fabric. There are 4 roles basically, and let me Fabric user 2. Do you have something like that? There are 4 roles in Microsoft Fabric as an admin, member, contributor, and viewer, and each of these guys has certain permissions in Fabric. That let me check if I can quickly find something for you. Give me a sec. Okay, let me yeah, I cannot find it now. No worries. Maybe next session we can talk more about them. But we have 4 roles in Fabric that each has a. It is going to be much faster for me now. That has some sort of permissions, right? And here you can just see, for example, admin has access to everything. The members of a workspace can do everything except for deleting adding or removing other admins into the system, but they have access to everything again for the members. The contributors, they cannot, basically allow others to share unless they are permitted to. And we have the viewers, they can only view the things, right? As you can see, they have very limited, permissions on the items. However, when you're adding some users into your workspace, you have to just give them one of these roles based on their responsibility and the area that they are going to work with. Let's say we are going to just give this Fabric user 2 as contributor, as an example. It is for the workspace level that you're providing someone with a permission. However, the items that you've got in your workspace also can be shared with others. For example, this data warehouse, it can be shared with people, right? And you can just have them here, Fabric user 2, right? That I added there. I can give them additional permission, right? He already actually has access to the to this one, but I can just have some additional stuffs on that. On top of that, read all data using SQL. But let me just tell you, since that user now is a contributor, already has access to it. But if I'm going to provide the access to another user, or decrease the access for that specific user, and I'm not going to grant him the full access to the workspace. Then I can just come to each item and specify the permissions that that user can have on that specific item. For example, and for each of the items that we have, each type of the item that we have, it will be different. And for example, for data warehouse, it is just talking about read all data using SQL. For example, it is a reader. Read all OneLake data and subscribe to events. And they can build reports on the semantic models. And if they can just monitor queries, they can audit the queries, or they can even share granted permissions to others, right? It is very important also. And how we are going to just modify them, actually notify them. And here, the same thing for the lakehouse. Even for the lakehouse itself, there are some other roles and securities that we can put on top of the OneLake security here, which is in preview, but it is good to know about that. And you have to just turn on the OneLake security here, and then you can just assign the user to this specific role. And what this role, oh sorry, my apologies, vibration, yeah, my bad. It was very close maybe to me. Yeah, and for the yeah, and in the the lakehouse, you can just specify the items that the user is going to have for the row security or column security. However, it is in preview, and you can just start playing with that as well in your lakehouse. Let's back to our workspace, and we can have manage the permissions. For example, for this semantic model, we can manage the permissions here, right? We can provide some people with the direct access, adding the user there, or accessing via related items, and if there is any link to that. But mostly for the users, we can just add the users here, and adding or removing the permissions. For example, this user only has access to as a contributor, but it does not have the reshare permission, right? We can add the reshare here as well for this person. Or let's I will look at the other things. For example, for the pipeline that we just created, I think for executing the pipeline stuffs, they have to have access to the workspace itself. I need to double check that. One more thing that I remember from our previous session about the data actually querying a visual editor, right? Sorry, I have to just shuffle and just back to each item because I don't want to miss them. The visual editor that we have, Visual Query in Profit. If you remember, there was some actually issues that we could not save it as a view, right? Let's remove this guy, delete that. And in order to save it as a view, we have to enable the load for, let me just start from beginning. And for those who were not here in the past, last session, there was a problem that we wanted to save this merge as view, and it was not giving us the right statement. And as you can see now, it is not even giving us the right statement, and it is only giving us the fact cell item, which is the city key and profit. But in the merged, I brought the state province from the city dimension here as well. And in order to make this merge active for saving it as a view, I need to just put the enable loading for this, then just save as view. Oh, it is not still. The save, actually, it is now, yeah, now it is returning this as a view, and we can just say visual editor query, and let's call it as v. Okay. Yeah, and that's it. That's the last one. Yeah, I think we can wrap it up. Guys, if there is any question, any comments, please feel free to add. If not, let's wrap up the session. But let me check my slides. So as I mentioned, if we can get time for semantic models, we would do that, but the time didn't allow us to open the discussion for semantic models. But no worries, the semantic models are going to be available in our next session. For the next session, we will talk about, let me just bring this guy up. From the highlighted items, we have worked on the workspace level access controls, implement, item level access control. We have done it. We discussed the row level and column level and object level, file level access control. The file level access control was part of our data lake. The app apply sensitivity labels to items is not available in my trial version. We have done the endorse items and discussed them. About the transformation of the data, the first one is done. We have created a sort procedure. We have added the new columns in both data flows and in data warehouse, in SQL Analytics endpoints. For implementing a star schema for a lakehouse or warehouse, we will do it next session next week. For the null values, identifying, the missing data stuff, these are some sort of actually part of the data transformation that we have done for the in the SQL Analytics, I think. And for converting column data type, we have done it past week for changing a column to date. We have done the filtering data. We have worked with the visual query. We have worked with SQL, and the semantic model stuffs are remained. Hopefully, next session we can cover all of these, remain stuffs. Maybe one last thing. Just on the Dataflow Gen2, I remember I didn't touch on that. Where's my financial data? For the financial data, in the Dataflow Gen2, we can basically implement the incremental load, right? The incremental load is going to be very helpful for having a better performance for sure. But there are some prerequisites for implementing the incremental load in your data flow. First of all, it should be in a destination of lakehouse or warehouse. Then you have to have a column as date time. So we need to change, for example, here, we need to change the time as actually from text to date time. And and it should not be append, it should be a replace in the destination, which is, I believe. And let's check for the incremental refresh. So in order to do that, you can just right click on it, incremental refresh, but something is wrong. Yeah, it is not meeting the required criteria. Its data destination update method is set to append, which is not the expected one. We need something to be replaced. And its data destination uses a dynamic schema or automatic setting. So let's change it. Let's create a new table for this. I would call it refine 2 to just working on. I don't use the automatic. It is going to be replaced and dynamic. Yeah, we can use the automatic one now and save settings. In this case, we are meeting the criteria. We are actually we are having our replace method. If you just over on this on your destination, it is going to just show you the update method. It is showing you the table, the destination, what lake house, and in what workspace, and the column mapping if it is auto mapping or not. Then we can just click on still append. It is not reflected yet. Still, let's choose another option. No, I remember the lake house there was no problem with the lake house for the incremental refresh, but let's choose the warehouse. There is an option here for the advanced option, basically, that you can navigate using the full hierarchy. If you don't set it as true, it is going to only showing the tables. But if you set it as true, it is going to show you the available schemas there, and then you can just know where you're putting your actually destination in. And the other thing, the table names. The table names can come from a parameter, right? We have a symbol name, right? But here even we can parameterize our table name in the destination. We can create a new template and sorry, in a new parameter, and just send the same actually the parameter in our from our pipeline. But yeah, let's say we have a refined. It is going to be in our destination, and if you see the data warehouses that we've got here, we can just expand them, and the available schemas are going to show up, and also the tables. However, I'm going to just create a new table and just replace and fix the schema. Oh, now I remember, for the previous one, for the lake house, I didn't set it to fix the schema. It should be fix the schema for the incremental refresh. Now it should work. Yeah, for the incremental refresh, we can enable that. The date time column should be here, and we can just say how long we should go back for extracting the data. It is there are days, weeks, month, quarter, and years. Let's say we want the data for past 20 days, for example. What is the the bucket size? It is for a day or a week. Bring it back to us. And if it is going to only extract new data when the maximum value in this column changes, right? It is going to be for append only use cases, and the same column can be used for filtering and change detection. However, for use cases, yeah. Cool. It's the bucket size should be equal to that one. Yeah, sorry. Cool. I think we're good. There's another thing for the enable staging. That is a an option when you when you want to just stage your data while you're doing the transformation, and where and actually the source of that is the source of your data is accepting the folding feature, but when it is going to be a warehouse, automatically it is going to be ignored, the staging. Cool. I think we are enough for today, and just looking forward to see everyone in the next session. Guys, if there is any question, feel free to ask, and if not, we can wrap it up. So for those guys who are new here, here is our social accounts on YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe on that, share with your friends if you want to rewatch it. Follow us on LinkedIn page, our LinkedIn page actually, where we do all of our announcements, and in the Microsoft Fabric community group and Microsoft community group, you can join us, and let's start the discussions. And don't forget to rate actually the session on Meetup, and let us know how we are doing. And yeah, it comes to an end for today. It's good that we have completed another session in the Fabric Data Days. Sorry for the low quality of the video today. Yeah, maybe for the next one we can fix it and having a better resolution. If nothing is there, thank you. Ashkan, thank you. Thanks, everyone. And enjoy your day, your night, your afternoon, wherever in the world you are. And until next one, take care. Cheers. Bye-bye.